So this is Visual Studio application which you're seeing on your screen, Visual Studio Community 2016. Well, for every application you see, there is always a menu item associated with it, which is this line of items up here. And the first is the file. The file in all applications that is in a computer, of course, shows where you can exit the program or start a new project, or open a project, or close a project, or save whatever thing you have done. So all the other things here, you barely almost not use them. So the two that is actually important in this menu item file is the new and the open. When you want to start a new website, you are going to new, this here. When you have a website you're working on, and maybe you post someday, you shut down your system and you are back and you want to continue, you're not going to use new anymore, but you come down to open. Okay, then if you have multiple of Visual Studio opened and you want to close some, you can just hit the close here. And then if you want to exit, that's pretty much all that file does, even in Microsoft Word and other applications in your system that you open. The file menu item is always there. Well, the next is the edit. The edit helps you to do, undo, and redo. Okay, so when you make a mistake, that's like the Control Z. When you, oh my god, I've done what I'm not supposed to do, when that comes in, or I just got out what I've done. Okay, there is always a solution. We can undo, and that's what the edit menu item helps us to do. So if you undo so much backward, you can actually move forward to redo what you've done. So you have the redo, which is Control Y. So we should actually get to know these shortcuts, the Control Z and then the Control Y, and all of that. The undo last global action and redo last global action, we necessarily won't have to use it so much in this lesson. It will just be there. You can check it out anytime by yourself. Then the next thing you'll be seeing here is the cut, copy, paste, and the delete options, which is of course universal. For cut, Control X, Control C, Control V, and then del for the delete. The del is of course the delete button on your keyboard, and the usual select all. I think the option in the edit is same as every other application. It's the edit. You would always find this set of options in every edit in any application you see that has to do with that you have to type something on, compilation, like the doc and Excel and all of that. So you can also use the find and replace. If you want to do a quick search when you've typed a whole lot of code, and you know that, okay, I know I typed onset somewhere, and you are not sure where the onset is. With the find and replace, or the quick find, of course, if you do a quick find, you just put in the word onset. For instance, I just put in the word and search, and the application will find what it is and where it is, and then bring that to me. You can also explore some of the other find and replace or find options here. Of course, you have the go to, and you have the navigate to, which is also very similar to what you see on Excel. Okay, and then the view. Well, if you notice earlier, I deleted the Server Explorer. Now, I've not introduced you to the Server Explorer. I just told you there was a tab that I had to close and it disappeared, right? And when that happens, I'll have to bring this tab back. So the view is where you find all of those tabs that you would need to work with. If you look at the first thing you're seeing a Solution Explorer. Now the Solution Explorer should appear somewhere on the right part of your screen. Check your own Visual Studio now. If it is not there, let's bring it up from the view. So on the right, are you seeing Solution Explorer?
On that view list.
Not on the view. Don't go to the view yet. I'm talking about this. Look at the screen. Look at my own screen now.
Yeah, it's there.
You're seeing Solution Explorer. You're seeing Property.
There's no Solution Explorer.
There's no solution.
Properties, Resources.
Okay.
Team Explorer.
And Team Explorer. Okay, so let's because Solution Explorer is very important. Let's bring it in. So you go to View, just like I am here, and the first you're seeing is Solution Explorer. Just double click on it, and it opens it. When you double click on it, it opens it this way. Then you have to auto hide.
You didn't open it this way. It opened this way.
That way, yes, you have to auto hide it. Remember the auto hide? Yeah. So click on auto hide. Then let's get back to View. Team Explorer is.
You didn't go there.
It should. It's on either side. So you are.
Yeah, it says Solution Explorer
on this side. Okay. So you have to be sure where exactly it is. We can move it to the other side.
Oh.
Just drag it from there until you see it take its position on the other side. That's the right side now. Is it moving?
No, it's not.
Okay, maybe I'll help you out with that later. So Team Explorer, I'm still on the view. Team Explorer is when you're working with a team. So if we are about 1, 2, 3, 4 of us working on one project, instead of when the file is just on your system, if you're not connected to my system, or if you're somewhere in China, you won't be able to have access to it. So Team Explorer helps us put the site folder somewhere in the server. I can stay in Nigeria and access it, while you are in Canada, and you can still access it and work from there. Then the Server Explorer helps us with a lot of things. That's the one I deleted. So let me bring it back in. I would just, it's right here now. Double click and it is here. So the Server Explorer helps us with our connections. Connection to the server, connection to the database, and a whole lot of other connections. Just as you can see from what is on my screen. Well, still on the view, you are seeing the SQL.
There's no Server Explorer here.
On your own.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how to bring it in now. Go to View.
It's not even in the view. I'm seeing Solution Explorer,
Okay.
Team Explorer,
Yeah.
Assets window, Data window, Resources window, States window, Document outline, Bookmark window. So
Okay, so let me take a look at what we have. Yeah, don't worry. When we start a project, it will pop up. Yeah. But these are pretty much what you will see when you're done setting up. It will definitely show up, so don't be bothered about that. You'll see all of this. So if you at any point delete any of these tabs that are either on the left or on the right hand side, you know where to get it back from now, which is from the view. You have the debug option. We barely use this, really. I really barely use this. You have the team option. That's to manage your connection when you're working with a team. You have the tool to connect to database and all of this. Well, of course, I still yet barely use this particular menu item. You have the run and this and the analyze and video and you have
No analyze, no test.
no text, no analyze. Yeah. So maybe when we start our first project, all of those things will show up. Yeah. And then if it doesn't, I will look at how you installed the Visual Studio and then try to help you bring all those things back up. Okay, so with this, we are done with a tour to Visual Studio. If you look at the left corner, just like where my mouse is, directly under the Visual Studio here, you see Start. This is for quick start. You have a new project, the open project, and whatever that is down there. You have it will also help you start up some of the projects you already did. You have the recent projects. These are all recent projects that I have worked on in the past number of projects. Okay, so the first thing to do when you're working with or when you want to create a website is to have a folder for the website. You can either create a folder outside the application and then link from here, or you just do it directly from here. Okay, so I'm going to File. Now it's a new project, it's a new website, right? So definitely new and a website. So if I select a website, you give it some time to load.
Okay, on mine it's just project and team project.
When you went to File, New, you're seeing Project and Team Project. Okay, so I'll be right back. So go to File, New, then Website. It's showing that way now. Alright. Now when you're here, look at the left panel. You're seeing Templates. Select Visual Basic. And when you select Visual Basic, the next thing is, I told you can either have a folder first or you create the folder from here. So if you have a folder existing, you just navigate to the folder so that all the web pages you are creating will be stored in the folder. So but since we didn't create a folder, I will just go to Browse down there and then select the location, whether you want to put it on your desktop or on document.
I think I'm lost.
Okay, so I'm going to close this. Browse is at the bottom right.
Okay, I was looking for where you went.
Okay, Browse is at the bottom right.
Okay.
And so that's it. So that means this definitely needs to come here. Yeah. So Browse is at the bottom right. So you select the location if you want it on your desktop. I would always want to keep it on my desktop because it will make me see it and know I'm working on something. Then when I'm done working, I can now move it to wherever I want to put it. So I'll select desktop, but then remember I didn't create a folder. I would have just hit the folder I created right now. So if I had created CDA, for instance, and that was the folder for the project I wanted to use, I would just select the CDA and say open. But since I have not created a folder, I will hit this button at the top right corner, the add folder. Now if I add the folder, it will come inside CDA, so I have to be sure of the location. So I'm going to select desktop again and then go to the add folder. When I click on add folder, it gives me a default name, website, but I wouldn't want to use website, so I will say AfriHub class. Okay, so school project AfriHub class introduction. intro, because this is not actually the real thing. We just want to look at HTML, look at some of the things we are going to use, and then we'll now start our real project. So once I finish doing that, by clicking open, it just brings you back to where you were. And if you look at the address for the folder, you see that it is pointing to user you and then that folder. So but then we would want to select now the middle panel, ASP.NET empty website. We'll look at the empty website first, then we'll look at the ASP.NET web form site later. So but this time around, make sure you select ASP.NET empty website. If it is not already selected, then click on OK. When you click on OK, you give it some time to load up, and it opens up. I think mine is done. So but on the left panel now, you should be seeing Server Explorer. Is it there? Auto hide.
Okay.
Yeah, just auto hide all those things. I want to be sure that your screen is like my screen.
It's
the same now. So there is nothing here right now. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing on the right is Solution Explorer.
Yes.
And you should have property also on the right.
Yes.
Okay, so the other things in between, I'm the one using them. You don't need them for now. You can, if as you grow and use, you know what is important to you. But the two basic is Solution Explorer and then the property. Now in the Solution Explorer, just like the name is solution, that is where your site is. All the pages you are going to create, all the things you are going to add, all the CSS, all the folders, every is on the Solution Explorer. So it's like the tree, when you are using what application? What QBasic or SAS or any other application really. When you go, you will always see that tree view that shows you what you're doing. So this is just like that. From here, I can add web page. From here, I can delete web page. From here, I can add a folder. So if I right click right now, it's going to show me build solution, blah 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 blah, and all the other things here. Well, they are not important. That's why I'm saying blah 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 blah. Yeah. So when they become important, we pay attention to them. So, but then the website itself. Remember the name of our website. Now, the name I use here is AfriHub Class Intro. So whenever I want to add a page, I'm adding the page to AfriHub Class Intro. So this is where I have to right click to add a page. Yeah, we'll come and look at Solution Explorer again when we really have to start working. Then the next thing is the property. Now the property is pretty empty. You get to understand the use of this property tab as we progress. The next thing is the Server Explorer, where I told you it contains all the thing that has to do with your connection to the server. And the next is the toolbar, which will hold some of the tools. So because most times we necessarily won't have to type in those tools, we just have to just click here. When you click on text box, it just writes the text box code for you. But then that doesn't mean you should be lazy. I can type the code without clicking it. Yeah, so it's as time goes on, you start typing. Well, some would minimize the click rate and do more of typing. Okay, so right now I would go back to Solution Explorer and then click on the website. When I say click on the website in Solution Explorer, I'm referring to this guy. So you have just two items here: the project itself and the website. 3 items rather: the project itself, the website, and the web.config file. Now the web.config, I will tell you what this is used for when the time comes. You can open it and look at it, and it's used for something very serious. Yeah, but we don't need it now. So I would remain on the website and then right click on it. When you right click on it, you are seeing build website, publish app, scope to this, new solution, explorer view, and all the other blah 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 blah. Now we don't use all of this. The two things that we will be using here mostly is the add and the view in browser, or browse with, or refresh. Every other property here, they are all good, but we won't be making use of them so much. There are other ways to use them, not really from here, but they have to just put everything for you. Yeah, so we will play around it from there's somebody said there are so many ways to kill a rat, so this is one of the ways. There are other ways also. So now I'll go to the add option. Now for you to add anything to the site, it must be from the add, be it a folder, be it an existing item, be it a new item, be it an ASP.NET folder, be it a web form, be it a web user control, JavaScript file, style sheet, and all of those. So on add, I want to add a web page. I'll select add and select add new item. It's new, right? It's a new web page. Or I just simply do Ctrl+Shift+A and it just brings me to this panel.
That's immediately okay.
So are you here?
That's immediately before you even go to the add, you have to click the add to bring out this.
The Ctrl+Shift+A.
Yeah.
No, you should. Let's try that. I've never done that really. Ctrl+Shift and A. So you don't need to go to the add. I've been wasting my time all this time going to add. So let me just auto hide that. So Ctrl+Shift+A just brings you to the add new item. But I wouldn't want you to use this now. So let's still go back to our normal add. Anyway, I've been seeing this shortcut and I tried it. Yeah, so add new item yet still brings out here. So when you start developing, when you start working by yourself, you can easily use Ctrl+Shift+A and boom, you have what you want. So you're seeing HTML page, JavaScript file, but what we want to add is a web form. We want to add a web form. As your page grows, depending on what your page need is, you can add as many of all of this into your website. So but what we really need to do now is to add just a web form. And if you select a web form, it will give you a default name, which is default.aspx. Down here you see name at the bottom left to give you a name, default.aspx. If you choose to rename it, fine. If you choose not to rename it, fine. But one thing you should know is that every website has a default page. For us in ASP.NET, or for us that use Visual Studio, our default page is called default. So default.aspx. For those that just code HTML, theirs is index. So when you visit that website, www.thatwebsite.com, it won't go and bring the contact us page for you. That's why you must use that name, because the crawler is designed to know which one is default, which page should I hit on first. If you use contact if you use any other thing other than default, index, and A Switch Student is there. So if you use any other thing other than default, index, and some other, which is somewhere here in Chrome, when you go to settings, let's try to see as many as exist. Blah blah blah. Where is that? I'm trying to. I know I've seen it somewhere here before, and I was like, oh, so all of this exists. Well, it seems like I'm not seeing it here now, so start up, use current page, add new page, search engine, no. But the browser and all of the crawler is designed such that it knows the page to bring up. Still trying to see if I'll see all of the name. Don't worry about that. Let's just leave all of those things out. Okay. So, but you must use default as your first page. Yeah. So, I'm going to leave that default for now, and leave this part just the way it is.
That's more like the home page.
Yes, that's the home page. So that home page always has the name default, or always has the name index. Okay. But
there are sometimes you open the website, when it's loading, you'll see they used to write something like an index, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yes, it's still that index is that's another word now. So index, default, it's still the same thing. Trying to navigate to the home page. So it's in the browser, you are seeing --.com/index.php, and then on the website itself, you are seeing that you are on the home page. You're seeing that it is home, but when you look at the address, you're actually seeing default or index there. So once we have done this, I would say add. So click on add. When you click on add, the default page appears on the Solution Explorer. I told you that's where you see everything you're doing. Okay, so let's take a look at the browser. I opened Chrome earlier, and you're wondering, okay, what does HTML look like? This guy said it's a markup language, and then he gave me an assignment to figure out HTML tags and all of that, and you were able to do some of them, and then you saw the basic tags. I'm looking at your assignments now. The basic tag, you saw the doc type, and the description here defines the document type. And then now these basic tags you're seeing are actually arranged almost the way it will appear on your compiler. So the doc type defines the document type. So I told you earlier in our last class, when the browser, you can use your browser to view a PDF, right? Yeah. So the doc type tells your browser it is an HTML tag that I am made of. So it's a markup language. Is today Wednesday? Yes, today is Wednesday.
I do have a problem with
noise.
Easily distracted
by, yeah, I just noticed both from when they were working and then once they started. So the doc type tells the browser this is HTML markup. So don't show the user the codes that they won't understand. Let them see the text that is marked up. That's why it's hypertext markup.
It tries to interpret the tag.
Yeah, it interprets the tag and shows the user. So the browser is actually like an interpreter. So all of these beautiful things, like if you're on your Chrome right now, look at this. You're seeing Google, right? With this beautiful color, whatever color, Google is always colorful. Okay, so you're seeing Google with this beautiful color. You're seeing the black background. You're seeing the search box, and then some other sites you go to whenever. But how did this come about? Maybe you've seen HTML before and you just, I have to close this. I don't know what I've done. Sometime when you right click and then say view page source. Here, when you view page source and you're like, oh no, it's showing me all the plenty black and blue, white and blue and then black, and I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I have to quickly close this. I hope I've not spoiled something for some people. But then this is actually the HTML tags that defined this. All of this is produced from here. So the beautiful black you're seeing, the beautiful Google logo you're seeing, the text box are all made up of all of this. Now look at this. This short thing we are seeing has all of this code to the bottom. Well, these are not difficult, so don't be bothered. Just so there are three. Sorry, what's the thing? Jojo, what's up? We have the Google markup showing right now if you're on your Chrome. I'm still on the Chrome with the Google markup. And on line 6 in my system, I'm seeing head. And the head tag close all the way down to line 34 here. So if you look at what is in between the head tag, you're seeing links. The link tag. So the link tag is pointing to animation.css. Now look at the file it's pointing to. All these things are the address. So this local NTP is somewhere in your Chrome app. So it's all pointing to. Alright.
Are you at the front of Africa now? Are you at the front of Africa? Then come when you are there, just flash me. I'll come down and give it to you. Sorry.
Okay. So I told you it contains links. So you're looking at animation.css, local NTP, common.css, customize.css, doodles.css, and all of the other CSSs here. And then the meta tag. So what is the meta tag used for? Is on your assignment. So the meta tag describes the metadata about the HTML document. Well, you will get to see the description, metadata, you have meta, and then you have metadata opens, you have description, you have ID, and then it closes. I'll tell you what it is used for. Now, sometimes you search for something on Google. After the topic, you see some short text. Sometimes when you go to the site, you don't see that text again. But you read something like that. Okay, this is supposed to be keyword or ID. Keyword. You're not seeing the particular thing you just read. It's because what you just read was from Meta. So Google looked at the Meta to tell you a short story about maybe a company. But when you open the company site, you will see that Visual Studio is anywhere existing. That's what we use. And then we use it to do so many other things. Just like if you look at Google, you're seeing content security police and then content type, all of that. And then it contains scripts and then the meta.
Okay, this is where the head.
So it's like the brain box that we talked about.
This is where the head ends and then the body starts.
The body starts. So I'm going back to the Visual Studio application. So whatever thing you do, for now, don't touch this. You don't have a business with it yet until you grow. When you finish growing, at this point you can access this. So, but if you touch this, you have scattered the whole page. And if you're not sure where you touched or what you did or what you deleted, well, what if you have written so much code down here and then you touch this and you're not sure what you did? That means you're going to have to start again. So to avoid all of those things, because I know why I'm saying this, even after the warning, some students yet will still go and touch it, and then they will expect me to come and fix it, but I won't.
So you need to have to copy that and keep.
No, you don't have to copy it and keep somewhere. There is always a way out. Well, I just say this so that you just not touch it. Yeah. So just try as much as possible not to touch it. If you touch it, there is a solution. You don't need to copy it and keep somewhere. So we talked about doc type. So it's when this is just talking about, okay, the one I said you shouldn't touch is about the page. It's telling the language we use on our code behind, the auto events write up, and the code file, which is I will introduce you to this code file later, defaults.aspx.vb, and all of this, because there is a place where we write what happens when you load the page. The command line is called the code behind. Yeah, I will introduce you to the code behind. So when you touch this, you have disconnected it from the code behind, and it won't function. There is no sync anymore. That's why the page will scatter. Yeah, and once you open the page, it will show you error. Okay, and that's not the only reason why it will show you error anyway, but it's
That more like the back end.
Yes, that's the back end. So this actually ties the front end to the back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know the back end, it drops the information there.
Yes.
So you can do anything and it comes back to the site again.
Yes. Okay, so doc type, like we saw, HTML, and the head tag is existing, and then the head tag closes, the body tag opens, the body tag closes, and then the HTML tag that opened closes. Now the head tag must run at server and the body must run at server. Now almost everything you use here runs at server, so that's Visual Studio for you. But it gives you the same result, really. You will get to understand what run at server is as we progress. Let's not pay attention to it right now. So in the head tag, the first thing we are seeing is title. But before I write the title, so you appreciate it when it is done, I'm going to go to Solution Explorer and right click on default and then say view in browser. Now Chrome is the browser I have selected. If you don't appreciate using Chrome, you can say browse with if you have more than one browser on your system. And okay, so actually by the time we start you will need almost all the browsers, because Chrome can do you something. Yes, Chrome can do you something, especially when it starts storing sessions. So when that happens, I'll have to drop Chrome, and you just finish doing a correction and you come back to Chrome, you're not seeing the correction, and you're like, I just did this. Okay, so I'm going to click browse or view in Chrome, just like I just did, and it's empty, just a white page, right? And then it says localhost on the address, localhost 203 2013. Now that's 2103 default.aspx, and then there is a blank page. Why is there a blank page? Remember, just like we had this, we've not written any command, we've not written any code, no HTML to read. The head is empty, the body is empty. So it doesn't know if it should change the background color, it doesn't know if it should put Google logo. Just imagine Google without all of this in the body and without all of this in the head. You will get equally this.
Oh, I think I get something here. Oh, sorry. Please, let me
Okay.
just give something.
Alright.
Please. You can actually clone a site
Yes,
by copying their code
yes,
and bringing it
yes.
to this platform. Like if you
Exactly.
copy the Google header now and put it there,
Well, you
it gives us
can
that page.
clone it, but you have to create some other things. But this one will just make the work easier for you. Now, there are other pages that were associated to this that you are not seeing here. That you're not seeing here right now. That is what these links are pointing at.
You can just pop up a message, restart needed. Why?
The system is asking you to restart.
Okay, no, don't worry, let's go ahead. It won't restart on its own. I have to.
Yeah, you have to accept.
accept it.
So all the thing you actually need to clone this page you are seeing right now is here. Click on this. You're seeing the CSS. This is what CSS looks like. You're seeing border, none, and all of these things. So I can actually copy all of these things and then put it in my own CSS and then have Google exist. That's simple.
But this is just one. This is just one of the several links that are there.
Yes, I just need to click on all of the links and then all of them will show up. Look at
Start
that.
clicking.
How many of them? 1, 2, 3,
5.
and then all I need to do is to copy this, create the folders, the right folders, and then drop it inside there. Which one is easier, to copy it or to type it?
To copy.
So, and once I put all of this, remember the CSS is used for styling. So if you look at this, you see that they're actually styling something. Height 100%, left equal to 0, right? Pointer event none, position absolute, top 0, width 100%, z index 100. So they're trying to style something, they're trying to position something where it's supposed to be. If you look at the other one, ripple effect mask, height 0, that means it doesn't have a height, and overflow is hitting this, that. When you look at this other one, bottom primary dot ripple effects, you're talking about background. Of course, you have to have a knowledge of RGB or RGBA. That's red, green, black, whatever. Don't pay attention to this. We have a way to look around it. But you need to have the knowledge of that to know actually the color code that they have used here: 255.255.255.32. So it's just a combination of red, green, black, and I don't know what A is, but it's called UX design. And in UX design, you have to learn color.
In what?
UX design.
UX.
Yes. User experience. That's the UX. User experience. User experience. UX design. It shows you, teaches you how to output your color. And now I'm focusing on those color names. But don't worry about it. You can always Google it and find it out. So you can pay attention to UX design anytime you need it. And then you use RGBA when you when your design is digital and not to be printed. If it is supposed to be printed, you don't use RGBA color code. But that's why Google is using RGBA. It's digital. You don't print out those things. So it will give you the same rich color as though it was printed. But if it is to be printed, you're not using RGBA. You're using I'm not sure of the name now, but I know it. I just have to pull it out from inside of me. Okay, so you have to just click on all of this and copy all of this from Google, and you reproduce the Google page. Okay, so let me close, and then get back to our local host that just have this. Now, when we're at Google, it's just saying new tab, right? So let's work on the local host. You're seeing a lot of local hosts, blah 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 blah, right? We want to give the user something he can understand. So let's return to the app. Now, in the title tag, in between the title open tag, here, I'm going to say new tab, just like the way we have it on Google. And then if I save this, now there are two save buttons. This save saves the current page. This other save saves all. But I like saving all. I can be working on multiple pages at the same time. If I save only correct page and close, the other ones didn't save. So at any point I just save all to avoid any issue. So I will save all. When I save all, I don't need to go to view in browser again. I'll just return back to the browser, not this, that, and refresh. Hello, I have done something. Okay, yeah. So it changes to new tab. So the localhost blah 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 just disappeared. So that's why some browsers, some websites, you can visit them and you are seeing the title of the page appear. So I can say ever water home, right? So the site is for Ever Water. It shows up there. So that's the title, the page title. And I can even do something more. I can change this globe thing to the Ever logo. When we come here, all these things you are seeing, all this, look at Giga Layer, for instance. This is their logo. When I actually open this site, the logo shows up here. You won't see the globe, but the logo. We are going to come to that as we move further. So, but let's not run so fast. But I'm telling you that these things are possible. So as we develop, we would see them come into play. So we've changed the title, and we have the body, and the body close tag. Now remember, I told you those ones that are not necessarily having anything in between them. Okay, so those ones that don't have anything in between them, we don't just close it after the whole thing.
Half of my head, see, half of my head is in that song. I do move it. So immediately I'm hearing that song. Another thing is running in my head, the script from the song.
Oh.
So that's why I said, oh my, I was just asking like this, but my full attention was not there. But I'm good. Can continue.
Okay, so we have this now. You shouldn't touch the form. Just leave it for them. And I don't like touching the div to the first div. I just like, when I want to start coding, I just start from inside here.
What's the div for?
Now, what is div for? It's HTML. Let's go to the HTML. I'll always refer you to it. I will just tell you what it is, but I want you to know it. Yeah.
I read it, but I forgot it.
So div is used for what? Is actually what div actually stands for is it dividable box or something? But let's see. Div defines a section in a document. So that's div. It's don't worry, you get to understand div. Almost everything comes with div. Let's look at the Google markup again. From the body, you're seeing div here, you're seeing div here, you're seeing div here. So div is actually very important.
That was all you drew on the board.
Yes, the other time.
When you
So
said,
you're seeing it's dividable.
yeah.
Div. I wanted to just make it.
So this is a different div.
Yeah, this is a different div. This is a different div. So when you're seeing a site and you're seeing a whole lot of thing, what did they actually use to do that? They're just divs. All of these are divs. This is a div, 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 this is a div. Now the background where all of this is also a div, but you're not seeing that one.
Yeah.
This other one from here is also a div, but you're not seeing it because it's not styled to change color on hover. These ones are styled to change color on hover when you hover on it, so you know where you are, and then a lot of things happen. But this one is also a div. This one is also a div. This is also a div. Okay. So no, that's not where we are. We are here. So I just like leaving the first div open, and then if I come here, I can actually start typing. Well, you can't just go ahead and just start typing in. This will show. Do you know why? This what I just typed in now, the blah blah blah, that doesn't make sense because it's in this div. So outside the div, I can also type something, and then I'm going to save all, return to the browser, and refresh. I'm seeing the two things I've typed, right? Okay, but which one is the right one? This is the right one. So let me assume after the body I had to type something and see. They are all showing because it's all inside the body tag. But then, which is the proper way? Yes, you know, there is, when we grew up, they just taught us A, B, C, D, E, F. They didn't tell us where the A and the B came from. And then we were taught that. Okay, so which is the proper way? None of this is right. This is not right.
Just to go to the body.
Oh. So this is not right. Neither is this one right. No, this one. Now all of this have to be inside a tag. Remember, they are HTML tags. Being inside a div tag is fine, but since it's a paragraph, remember, you have to, when you are reading an article, you don't just start writing. Even when you are writing with your pen and paper, you don't just start writing. There are lines, right? And when you want to start writing, you are told to give a paragraph. That's the way it is here too. So when you want to put a text, we put a paragraph tag P. I typed.
No, I mean the tag.
I typed it.
How?
My keyboard.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, so in between the div tag, I'm just going to type the brace bracket first, the angle bracket rather, not brace, and then P, and then once I'm closing the angle bracket for the open tag, Visual Studio will close it for me.
Okay.
So you see why Visual Studio is better somehow. If it was Dreamweaver or any other ones I have or Notepad, I have to type it out myself.
Yeah.
So once I'm closing it, just so that you don't forget to close, because if you forget to close, you're going to have error. Now, once I closed it, you'll notice that my cursor is still blinking in between the P tag. That means it's telling me to start typing now. There is something that is supposed to come in here. So I can say this is my first website and I'm happy. I can type that this is my first website and I'm happy, and then I'll save. Remember, to view it, for it to show up, you have to save, and then I'll always click to save all up here, and I'll return to Chrome. Of course, I already have it open somewhere, and then all I just need to do is to refresh, and when I refresh, it's telling me what I've written. This is my first website and I'm happy. Before now, this is how websites look like, just black and white. So that means this Google here, if it wasn't styled, I would just be seeing Google written like this. But then thank God for CSS that came into play. So imagine we didn't have to style Google. Yeah. So this is my first. We've actually done a website. I can host this. But then, what will the users see when they view it? We've done something. We've created a site. If you visit localhost.localhost:202103, it will bring you here. Let me prove it. I'm going to leave the default out. Right now, why I'm copying the localhost is because my system is the server. So I'm trying to ping my system. So if my system was connected to yours, I can ping it through your own. So if I put that in without the default and just hit enter, it brings me straight to the default. Just like visiting the site, www.thatsite.com, it takes you straight to the home page. Okay. So the site is ready to be hosted, just like this. And we have done this is my first website and I'm happy. So now I'm going to return to a PDF and start properly. This is the PDF I was using the last time. Yeah. So this is we are going to be looking at basically 3 tags. I told you about the head, body, the header, and you're wondering what's the difference between this and this. It's very simple. This one is the inside of the head, right? But then when you have and then you have blah 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 blah. Now focus, but you don't understand it this way. I'm trying not to write so much, so I'm just going to put characters, and then I underline a notebook, right? And underline title, and then there is that one you write a capital letter somewhere, and then you start writing. This is the title. This is the header. The title is contained inside the head. Remember, this is a notebook. It's always divided this way. This is the head. Then this is a margin.
More like a subtitle.
This, yeah, a subtitle. But it's also the main title. This one appears on the browser tab. Then this one is the one the crawler will find. This is the one when you search for how to cook, Google is looking for this, not this. Okay. Yeah. So if you don't put it here, you won't see it.
To be blank.
Yes. No, your website will pop up on search results, right? But then header is not always written like this in recent time. This is an outdated form. Instead, the header has been reduced to H. So we just have H. But then there are different graduations because there is the H that you want to be so bold and large. There's the H you don't really want it to be so large. The fonts are all like fonts. Yeah, so it has been reduced to H1, H2, H3, H5, down. So header. A crucial reason for using semantics is to increase accessibility. Prior to HTML5, there was no specific way to tag content based on its definitions. HTML5 changed all that. The div tag was used extensively along with headings to create a header for the web page. However, now we have the header tag. A header tag may contain headings nested into it, but that is not a necessity. So searching stuff on the internet, I was just telling you about that now. Searching stuff on the internet is possible due to the search engines such as Google search, or Bing, or Yahoo, any of those search engines. Now, there's something called search engine optimization. Is what the Google user is searching for contained in your site? I will not be reliable when you search for where to buy Everwater and I'm showing you where to buy laptop, right? So, and for Google to know that your site is selling Everwater, you have to tell Google, my site is selling Everwater on the header. Else, Google will assume you are just something somewhere. Okay. So search engine optimization is a concept. That's why people develop sites and then they are not showing up on Google search, and you're wondering, the person you did the site for is telling you, I'm not seeing myself. What have you done that nobody can find me? Go and check your sites. Use the correct algorithm. You show. When you don't use the correct algorithm, you don't show. So the algorithm just talks about the flow, the correct flow chart, the let this be here. If you don't put this here,
right order.
Yeah. Is a concept that is crucial and imperative for a website. For example, search engines with the help of crawlers. I've been talking about crawler. I hope you understand what that is. Okay. So with the help of crawler, assesses a web page content based on the elements that contain them. Hence, the header element is very important as it provides more accessibility than other elements like the footer. We have so many other elements like the footer. Well, Google don't look at the footer because less information are contained there. So the search engine finds the content in the header tag quite easily. Moreover, using the header element accounts for an appropriate way for web designing.
Are we just going to take on the header today?
Yes, we are taking on these three important things: the body and then the head. So now let's look at the header tag.
You are going to give me this.
Yes, I will copy this to you. So right now, I'm going to copy this. I just don't want to type, so I'm copying. And I'm coming to our project, and then I'm going to remove the P tag and what I've written and paste what I've copied. Now, if it is like this, when you paste, okay, now I think I should give you the PDF. So if I'm copying and then you want to try out, you can actually try out the same thing.
Don't worry, let's try it. I will try it out.
Okay. So I have this, and it is not properly formatted, so I can just highlight it, right click, and say format section. It brings it down for me this way. I can do other formatting.
Are you recording?
Yes, I'm recording this. So, but then I have all of this. So I have the header here, and then it says page 2, importance of header element. I'll save this. Now remember, okay, I think I should just show you how it looks in the browser first. So I'm going to refresh. That was what we just typed. Yes, so this is the header. It made it bold.
Very big.
What was that? Okay, I'm actually waiting for 1 o'clock, so we have like 10 minutes.
Okay, because I'm totally
distracted. So we have like 10 minutes. Yeah, so in the next 10 minutes we'll be rounding up, or maybe less than 10 minutes. So we have this in bold, and then we have a line. You're wondering, okay, how did we do this? It's very simple. When you go back to the code, you're seeing the header, and then where is the line? Look at that, HR. horizontal
created
row.
that for itself.
No, we actually typed it.
Okay, you copied
So I
it.
copied it from there. So if I typed it, I would have typed it myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So now this is not properly closed. That's why it's been underlined. But I'm going to close it now, and that red line will disappear. Did you notice something?
The line
That was under it just disappeared. Yes. Okay. So then after that you have the P tag here.
Sorry. The slash comes in two different forms. One this way, one this way. And you just, the other time this you wanted to close it for us on its own.
It's closed.
It closes this way.
Outside.
But you close it this way now.
No. Look at it. Look at the P tag. It's still the same slash. This is forward slash, not backward slash. It's still the same forward
Okay,
slash.
yeah, but you can put it either outside.
Now, not putting it either side. This one doesn't have anything in between it. That's what I was telling you in our last class. Look at this. I can remove this, and I can as well do this. I can as well do this, but it doesn't have anything here. Just like the header that opened and closed here that can contain something inside it. So doing this is just wasting of time. The time you would have used to do something else, you are trying to close a HR tag. So why put that one there when I can just close here? So now the P tag contains character, must have character inside it, and if it opens and it must have character inside it, it must close. The div tag is divide, right? And it must have things inside the other tags inside it. So if it must contain other tags, it must close somewhere. So the form tag too, it must contain something, it must close somewhere. And Visual Studio has a way of showing you where it opens and where it closes. So once you touch it, you know where you are. If this one is missing, for instance, if this is missing and I touch this, it's showing me that hey, something is wrong. Okay. So with this, we have been introduced to the header tag, the head tag, and the body tag, and the P tag. Okay, we have a whole lot more to look at as time goes on. So if you did what you did correctly, you have this, which is exactly what we have on our site. So I'll treat the footer, and then after the footer, we'll close. So you visit the site, and you see all of the fine stuff, and then maybe usually on black, though most times now people are trying to avoid that pattern because we like being creative. Because we follow this rule, so let's do something else. When you see a black, and then you now see the logo of the site again, and then you now see quickly, you now see blah blah blah, and then sign up.
Address, contact.
Yeah, contact, sign. Now, some people are trying to let's not put all of this, let's just do footer and just put copyright 2019. Name of site 2019, and then instead of doing this, the person can read about the site in the about us, right? And then leave only sign up because it is important. Sign up, subscribe for newsletter and stuff. All these other big things, they are in the menu item. So why bother myself putting them here? Let's see. So, but then when you look at it from here, it's called footer, just like the food. Remember the head, the body, and surprisingly, to see how these guys were thinking when they were developing this. The head stays alone, but the body, the foot is part of the body. So the footer tag is actually still inside the body tag when we look at it here.
That was right, it was not broken into three.
Yeah, just two. So I'm going to copy the footer part of this. See the footer tag here. So I'm just going to get this and return to this. Now I have the header, I have a P tag, and I still want to type things in. So I would have just started typing footer. Now Visual Studio helps you with the suggestions too. and it has stuff that I want to put in. So I'll just Control Z and then paste. Let's assume I have typed this.
When you use that format settings, it arranges itself.
Yes. So actually, when I'm typing, that's how it's supposed to come out. Yeah. So, but since I copied and paste, so now the footer contains. I'll still do some other formatting myself. So I can save all, return here, and refresh. I have the footer showing. Now you're wondering, the footer is too close, it's supposed to be down here, right? Well, it's because there's no content. We've not put anything that will push the footer down. And we've not styled this, else this is supposed to be somewhere in the middle here, right? Where you're supposed to see it. And then these are the links that are supposed to be somewhere here or there. And then this is saying index, which is actually supposed to be default. That's the quick links that you can click and then return back to the home page. Now page is not found because there is no link like that existing in our stuff. Okay. So that's all about that. So let's actually read the content. The footer element is used to denote things like the author's name, contact information, copyright, patent, to mention a few. A footer allows the programmer to give a general idea about the website. However, footer can be used more than once in a document. If you wish, but really they just use it once. An article can have its own independent footer. Yes, it can. That's when you're having news sites. It can have its own independent, like blogs, footer, in addition to another footer element in the source code and all of those things. So we've looked at the header, we've looked at the head, and we've looked at footer. So in our next class, we'll be continuing to look at the nav tag, and we'll go down further to look at the article tag, and then you have to write an article for me that I'm going to see. So when you are done writing the article, what we are driving at is to show you how the website, HTML, website is just HTML, how HTML existed before CSS came in. So by the time you are done with your article and we style it, you appreciate it more. Okay. So we'll look at all these other ones in our next class. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.